Returning again to wailing, the video then cuts off, leaving a spine-chilling silence in its wake. For all the regulars, welcome back to the Creepy Marathon Month. For anyone who's new here, every October we go from uploading 1 to 2 videos per week to uploading a daily video. It's in the run-up to Halloween, and the videos mainly focus on the supernatural, the paranormal, and all things creepy and scary. Boy, do we have some spooky stuff for you in this one. As always, hit those lights, sit back, and enjoy. The creepy voice. In early 2025, Reddit user Fort Union uploaded a link to an as of yet unexplained video that they fear may show evidence of a paranormal entity in their home. The clip is just 13 seconds long and is recorded from the user's Wisey home camera. It shows their dog sat on the living room sofa, facing to the right of the screen. Then what can clearly be recognized as a man's voice starts to speak in a muffled, unintelligible tone. It's hard to tell what is being said, but the user has interpreted it as "good dog. Do you know that?" In the caption, the user has explained that they believe the voice to be a mimic, a ghost that is lurking in their house and copying what they tell their dog every day in a disjointed, eerie manner. They have acknowledged that the sound could not have been made by the dog, as it is a toy poodle with very short, high-pitched vocal cords. Take a listen. The uploader confirmed that the voice was likely coming from inside their apartment. What's particularly interesting about this case is that the commenters on the post seem to be agreeing that something sinister is indeed going on here. They have noticed that the dog is not looking at the camera or the window when the sound is made. He's looking at the origin of the voice, which appears to come from the left of the screen. Some suggestions include that one of their devices may have been hacked, or even that somebody may have attempted to break into the apartment. It's pretty unsettling. What do you make of it? Take one last look. The Unknown Housemate. Experiencing the seemingly unexplained from the supposed safety of your home is surely everyone's worst nightmare. However, for a 57-year-old unnamed man living in Fukuoka, Japan, in 2008, this was his reality, and it proved to be even more disturbing than he could have imagined. It started when he began noticing items misplaced around his home, mainly food. He would stock his fridge each week and return periodically to see that several items were simply gone. He checked around his home, but it just didn't seem explainable. There was no trace of the missing food anywhere he checked. After this happened several times, it started to understandably concern the man, and he decided to get to the bottom of it once and for all. He installed a series of security cameras around his home, in the hopes that he would get to the bottom of the missing food, and what he found was stranger than fiction. The following day he left for work, and halfway through his shift he received a notification that the cameras had been triggered. Reviewing the footage, he was shocked to see a disheveled woman with long black hair inside his house. But how? All of his doors and windows were locked tight. He called the police, fearing that somebody had broken in. When they arrived at the scene, they noted that all of his doors and windows were still locked, and a break-in was out of the question. The man returned from work and let the police into his home, who proceeded to search the one-story property from top to bottom. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary at first, until they reached the man's shelf closet, a small Japanese-style room typically used for storage, but one that the man had left empty. It's a good job he did, because inside, the woman from the footage was curled up on her side. The woman, later identified as 58-year-old Tatsuko Horikawa, was a newcomer to the man's house. She had been living there for an entire year at the time she was discovered. She was arrested and taken to the local police station, where authorities were able to obtain more information about her. She was homeless and snuck into the man's house one day when he accidentally left the front door unlocked. She made a makeshift home for herself in the shelf closet and managed to stay under the radar of the homeowner for all that time, sneaking food from his fridge when he left for work. Apparently she was particularly clean and tidy, and had even been taking showers when the man left the house each day. It's unknown what became of her after her arrest, and unfortunately, despite our best efforts, we were not able to obtain the CCTV footage. There are some screenshots and footage online that many people use for this case, but it is not the actual footage. So remember, next time you hear a strange noise in your house, check every room carefully, because it may not be the dead, but in fact the living. The Ghost Hunters Lighthouse footage. Ghost Hunters is a famous ongoing television series that has run in several iterations since 2004. It sees a team of paranormal investigators traversing haunted locations across the United States, using night vision equipment, EVP recorders, and motion sensors to attempt to capture evidence of the paranormal. It was one of our favourite shows back in the day. The show has taken the producers and cast to some seriously unsettling locations over the years, one of which is the infamous St. Augustine Lighthouse on the coastline south of Jacksonville, Florida. The lighthouse, standing 50 meters, or 165 feet tall, looks out across the Salt Run on Anastasia Island, a stone's throw from the coastline of the Atlantic. The lighthouse is also associated with repeated sightings and sensations that have been linked to the supposed ghost of a lighthouse keeper, Joseph Andre. Andre, an immigrant from Spain, who dedicated most of his adult life to maintaining the lighthouse, sadly lost his life at the site, when on the 20th of August, 1880, he fell to his death while painting the tower. Many visitors to the lighthouse, which is now open to the public for tours, have reported seeing Andre's restless spirit wandering around the top floors of the lighthouse tower, occasionally opening doors or moving objects. When the Ghost Hunters team visited the St. Augustine Lighthouse way back in 2006, they caught some of the creepiest footage ever to be aired on TV. Take a look at this.
Or something that's not accounted for.
Whoa!
See him come out?
Dude, that's cool.
Then you see a little light, but I don't think it's a flashlight because you would see the beam.
Yeah, you see the beam. It looks like somebody goes like this.
Which is exactly what Jay and Grant said they saw.
Dude, that's awesome.
So
that's pretty good, dude. You want to see something else that's amazing? Okay, watch this right here. It's on the stairwell right now. See it moves over a little bit? And he's not moving, but then poof, it's gone.
Wow.
It's
And that's not a shadow because there's no underlight coming up to you guys.
No. When we were up there doing it, it was on the stairs looking at us.
See this thing moving?
Now look at the very top.
Was that just leaning over right there?
Yes.
Watch, you're gonna see it go up 2 flights of stairs in a matter of a couple seconds.
Oh,
Watch. Boom. And there it is.
Peeking right over at us.
there you go.
See? Boom. Then it moves to the right,
Yep.
and that's where it will disappear.
Here it goes.
To this day, this footage is still unexplained. Many years after this legendary footage, the modern Ghost Hunters team visited once again. They made use of REM pods, small motion detectors that flash and beep when somebody passes by them, to try and identify any spirits within the tower. They placed one at the bottom of the tower and one halfway up. As they ascended, they softly called out to any spirits who might be listening, and to their surprise, the lower REM pod at the bottom of the tower sprung to life. They requested that the ghost trigger the REM pod once more, and sure enough the lights and beeping sounds start up again. Later, when different members of the team visited the lighthouse once more, they ascended to the top of the tower with a tri-field meter, an electromagnetic field detector commonly used in ghost hunting expeditions. Upon reaching the top floor, not only did the meter begin to flicker, but a very loud bang could be heard coming from one of the lower levels of the tower, a heavy door that had been slammed shut downstairs. Meanwhile, in the trees and bushes just outside the lighthouse's main entrance, thermal imaging cameras caught no evidence that anybody had been tampering with the door when it was slammed. The Ghost Hunters team do not believe that there is any malice shown in the supposed spirits they encountered whilst visiting the lighthouse over the years, and believe it's safe for the public to visit. The clips certainly make for an eerie watch, especially that original one. But what do you think? Did the team really capture evidence of a ghost at a notoriously haunted tourist spot? And most importantly, have you ever visited the lighthouse and experienced anything strange for yourself? Baby monitor hijackings. On the 13th of August 2013, ABC News reported on an eerie occurrence involving a couple who were left terrified after hearing strange voices emanating from their 2-year-old daughter's baby monitor. The couple, Mark and Lauren Gilbert from Houston, Texas, first experienced the voices on the 10th of August, when a British man's accent could be heard loud and clear on the device. Mark was washing the dishes after his birthday dinner when he heard unusual noises from his daughter's room. Heading in to investigate, he was horrified to hear an unrecognized voice shouting swears at his daughter. Alarmingly, when they entered the room, the man's voice started to turn his attention to the couple, insulting Lauren, implying that whoever was on the other end of the baby monitor could see the family too. The only saving grace here is that their daughter is deaf and was unable to hear the verbal assault aimed at her. Mark immediately disconnected the device, worrying for the family's safety, and confused as to how somebody could be watching them over his daughter's baby monitor. His mind started to swim with concerns about how long this had been happening, and whether it had affected his 3-year-old son in the next room as well. Thankfully, when he asked his son, he had not heard any unusual goings-on, and was only startled when he heard his parents' commotion in the next room over. The couple consulted a lawyer specializing in internet privacy and security law, and explained that somebody had been watching them in their own home. It turned out that Mark and Lauren had experienced a baby monitor hijacking, an uncommon occurrence, but one that is certainly not unheard of. The unknown man managed to hack into the baby monitor, likely via the family's Wi-Fi connection, where he could then see, hear, and even speak to the family, controlling the camera to get a disturbing view into their lives. The couple decided to not take the incident forward to the police, and the hacker's identity remains a mystery to this day. The couple understandably decided to get rid of the baby monitor following the incident, and ended up contacting their internet service provider to make the other devices in their home as secure as possible. They were advised to keep their passwords, home networks, and devices extremely secure going forward, so there could be no possibility that this might happen again. Thankfully, nobody was harmed, and the children were not even aware it was going on, but it could have been much worse. A reminder to make sure that your passwords are secure. Creepy Mexican sound. This clip comes from Reddit user Technical Sample 4678, who uploaded what they believe may be evidence of a terrifying encounter with a ghost. In the pitch black night, a disembodied wailing voice can be heard, sounding a little too close to the camera for comfort, before suddenly transforming into a deep, growling, evil-sounding voice that sends the dogs into an alarmed frenzy. Take a listen. Returning again to wailing, the video then cuts off, leaving a spine-chilling silence in its wake. It sounds as though words are being spoken in the wailing, but we cannot quite make out what's cried out. Take another listen and see if you can make anything out. The uploader, whose family sent the clip from their home in Mexico, says the police in the town have been hearing the terrifying wails for years and believe it's the infamous Weeping Woman, or La Llorona. La Llorona is a legendary figure in deeply rooted Mexican folklore, and her story varies across regions, but a common version is that she was a beautiful woman who fell in love and had children with a wealthy man. However, when he ended the relationship in favor of another woman, she became consumed by madness and despair, and resorted to horrifically drowning their children in a river. She would become consumed by guilt immediately after, realizing that she was unable to undo her crime. The legend concludes that she then drowned herself also, and her soul was left to wander the earth in perpetual sorrow. According to the legend, the spirit of La Llorona roams riverbanks, lakes, and other bodies of water, endlessly searching for her drowned children. Locals say that she wails, "Ay mis hijos, O my children," as she mourns, which is why many fear her cries, believing they bring misfortune and woe. This is not the first time that videos reportedly showing the weeping woman have been captured and uploaded. In Central America, she seems to be a reasonably common occurrence, where paranormal sightings are concerned. Individuals report hearing her cries outside their homes, near to local lakes, or within woods in the dead of night. The legend has become more popularized in recent years, as stories surrounding it have evolved, and she has even inspired books, songs, and horror movies in recent years. So what do you think? Is this clip evidence of the legend of the Wailing Woman being rooted in reality, or could the sound have a less sinister explanation? Regardless of the wailing's origins, we certainly wouldn't want to hear that in person, and most definitely not in the depths of night. So that's it for this video. Sleep tight, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow for another creepy video.